do part 2, and we'll post online at democracynow.org. Her new book, just out, One Long Night, A Global History of Concentration Camps. And that does it for our show. Juan Gonzalez will be speaking in Newark, New Jersey tonight at the Abyssinian Baptist Church at 7. Then next Friday, not tomorrow, in Kansas City, Missouri. I'll be going all through Canada on the last week of September. Check our website. Our website is democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh. Thanks so much for joining us.
UNT President Neil Sumatras encourages growth at his annual State of the University address.
We showed a remarkable
UNT President Neil Sumatras encourages growth at his annual State of the University address.
A fast-moving fly ball hits a little girl at a baseball game. We'll tell you what teams are wanting to do to prevent this.
Also, UNT was named Top Music Business School by the Billboard magazine.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on NTTV Nightly News. I'm Maggie McCulloch.
And I'm Drake Lawson. Record-setting enrollment and a focus on innovation. Those are some of the things highlighted in this afternoon's State of the University address.
NTTV's Julian Esparza joins us now with more on what the university president had to say in his annual speech. Julian?
Yeah, guys, that's right. President Sumatras spotlighted many accomplishments UNT has achieved this past year. Sumatras said the university is particularly proud of four-year graduation rates.
We showed a remarkable change in the number of students who are graduating in 4 years at this institution. We had a 5 percentage point jump. That's almost unheard of in 1 year.
And Sumatras also went on to say he is extremely proud of the direction the university is headed, and he has high hopes for the future. Drake and Maddie, back to you.
And as President Sumatras prepared his address, today we learned that this year's fundraising total broke a university record. In the past fiscal year, UNT donors committed more than $30 million, breaking an all-time record. University leaders say that gifts grew by over 49%, along with an increase in revenue generated by an advancement events. University leaders say there is no better time than now for donors to invest in the UNT community.
Well, Maggie, fall might be starting tomorrow, but it certainly hasn't felt that way outside.
I know, it's been a little bit hot, but right now we'll go to Joe for the weather for more.
Well, that's right, Drake and Maggie. Summer is holding on with an iron fist. As you can see behind me, not a single cloud in the sky. It's currently 94 degrees. Feels closer to 102, actually, with a 12-mile-an-hour wind speed in from the south by southeast. But as we move into tonight's temperatures, it will drop significantly, feeling closer to 88 degrees and feeling like 78, which is a big sigh of relief and a big good feeling for everybody around here. As we move into tomorrow morning, it will still be about 88 degrees, but don't get too excited. As we move closer to the noontime, that sun will bring it back up to 95 degrees. That's all I have for you right now. I'll have your 7-day forecast later on for you in the show. Drake and Maggie, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. The situation in Mexico is one of desperation as rescuers race to find survivors from that massive earthquake earlier this week. Omar Jimenez has more from Mexico City.
Things like support beams that you're seeing being unloaded out of this truck here as well. And that's just because in many of these sites where these first responders and rescuers are, it is unsafe for them to move forward. So they've actually had to bring in extra fortification to allow them to move forward into this debris and potentially find people. In this location in particular, we're about a block away from an elementary school that collapsed in on itself, where first responders have been looking for a 12-year-old girl, and it's just one of the many efforts going on throughout this region.
A magnitude 7.1 earthquake in central Mexico leaves hundreds dead and many more injured. Across Mexico City, one of the most populous cities in the Western Hemisphere, dozens of buildings have collapsed. But rescuers from all walks of life have banded together to scour the debris and dozens of survivors have been pulled from the rubble. Volunteers removed bricks and pieces of concrete by hand and used thermal, sound, and movement sensors to assist in their search. Workers hold up their fists to signal for silence so they can listen for signs of life. Many schools in Mexico City were seriously damaged, including a private elementary school that folded in on itself. Several trapped children were pulled alive from the debris. One girl described what she endured as the building collapsed.
Just when we were going to run down, part of the building collapsed and everything was dust and we couldn't see anything. The English teacher helped us come down because we couldn't use the stairs. They were moving a lot.
An unknown number of people are staying at shelters around the city, and schools have closed indefinitely. Mexico has declared 3 days of mourning.
And while this earthquake was bad, it definitely could have been worse. It actually came on the anniversary of a 1985 earthquake here in Mexico City. That one killed over 9,000 people, but it led to a whole new set of building codes and structures that were just built to better withstand the effects of an actual earthquake. In this situation, rescue efforts are continuing throughout the day, but the risks haven't gone anywhere. Many of the buildings that these first responders are working in and around are still in danger of collapse days after the earthquake first hit the region. Reporting in Mexico City, I'm Omar Jimenez.
This earthquake is the second major earthquake to hit Mexico this month alone. Be sure to send good thoughts to our neighboring country.
Many people call America a melting pot full of different races and cultures. Hispanic Heritage Month started last week, and one UNT organization is doing its best to honor that culture. Cameron Smith joins us live in the UNT Union to tell us what's in store for Hispanic Heritage Month.
Here I have Damian Torres. He is the director of the UNT Multicultural Center. Now, Damian, what exactly does the Multicultural Center provide for the students?
Sure, Cameron. So the Multicultural Center is a identity-based resource office on campus focused in diversity and inclusion programming. That's a broad spectrum. Long story short, though, we want to make sure that students can be able to see themselves on campus from an identity standpoint. We do that a number of different ways. We provide on-campus programming, Heritage Month celebrations, community opportunities, peer mentoring programs. Again, ultimately, we want to make sure that we can connect students with communities that they identify with and or want to learn about.
And it is Hispanic Heritage Month, so why is it important to honor or learn about that culture?
So at UNT, we have a diverse student community. We want to make sure that we use the platforms that we have, like Heritage Month celebrations, to highlight and celebrate the contributions that not only our current students have, but past individuals in society and future individuals.
And what are you guys doing tonight to honor that?
So we are hosting a panel session around immigration and hosting a spoken word artist called Harrison Chicas.
All right, sounds like it's going to be very educational, also a lot of fun. Drake and Maggie, back to you.
Thanks, Cam. Maria, a Category 4 hurricane leaves a path of devastation in Puerto Rico. We have an update on the latest damage.
And when it comes to sports, concussions can be a big issue. We'll have more on that after the break.
What is creativity?
The ability to probe into something you don't know, to answer questions previously not answered.
And resist the temptation to say what everybody else has said.
Using the different mediums, combining the different mediums.
It's taking what we have and reassembling it and using it in a different manner.
Describes what free people do.
It has something to do with dreaming. It's actually what life's all about.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Hi, I'm Chuck Dandy. Come on down to UNT Surplus.
UNT Surplus.
Look at all this affordable stuff. This couch only $10. These laptop bags only $5.
UNT Surplus.
Open only on Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Only on Tuesday. Tuesday. At a Surplus warehouse. 925 Precision Drive. UNT Surplus. Come on down and buy now.
The force of Hurricane Maria knocked out Puerto Rico's power grid, making it even more difficult for rescuers to search for survivors. Nick Patton-Walsh has more.
Puerto Rico ravaged. After taking its first direct hit from a Category 4 hurricane in nearly a century, the governor imposing a curfew each night for Puerto Rico's 3.4 million residents, the entire island in the dark after the power grid was completely knocked out.
We're looking at 4 to 6 months without electricity.
Roofs ripped off buildings, homes reduced to rubble, streets swallowed by floodwaters, littered with debris, gas stations underwater. The island's already fragile infrastructure decimated. The governor asking President Trump to declare the island a disaster zone.
This is the most devastating storm either in a century or quite frankly in modern history.
Hurricane Maria unleashing punishing winds up to 155 miles per hour. Pelting torrential rain sideways and breaking trees in half as residents rode out the storm, some in shelters, others in stairwells.
I've never seen anything like this. The ferocity powering through, it's torn away the awnings, pulling out the trees too. Whoa!
This is the road of destruction we encountered on our drive from the east coast of the island in Palma del Mar, where Maria made landfall. A gas leak forcing us to evacuate our hotel. The scale of devastation staggering. The highway littered with dead trees, downed electrical cables and telephone poles, propellers snapping off wind turbines. The closer we got to San Juan, the more dangerous the drive became, water inundating the roadways as we tried to pass. Storm surges of upwards of 5 feet, turning streets into rivers and parking lots into swimming pools. The monster storm devastating much of the Caribbean. The worst of it, captured in these aerial images on the island of Dominica, which took a direct hit from Maria, was a Category 5 storm. At least 14 people are dead, many others still missing. Officials estimating about 70% of the island's buildings damaged or destroyed.
Amongst the efforts to aid those in need include the National Guard, rescuing dozens of families from floods near the capital of San Juan. A Denton family of 9 is without a home tonight after a fire damaged most of their home yesterday. It happened right after 4 p.m. on Linden Drive, just north of the UNT campus. Thankfully, everyone was able to make it out of the home safely before the fire spread. Officials say the home sustained about $150,000 worth of damage. The cause of the blaze is currently under investigation, and the Red Cross is helping the family out.
Well, Maggie, Denton is a pretty cool place, but I'm always looking for more entertaining things to do.
Well, Drake, our reporter Courtney Wilson might have the solution to that problem. Courtney?
Thanks, Drake and Maggie. If you like the square and good music, you're in luck. The fall schedule has been announced for Thursday night music at the UNT at the Square. The series of concerts will be presented by the University of North Texas Institute for the Advancement of Arts and the College of Music. The concerts kick off tonight from 7 to 9 and will continue until October 26. If you're able to make it out tonight, you'll be able to catch pop, jazz, and arrangements. And did I also mention that it's for free? I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty good way to spend my Thursday night. Drake and Maggie, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Courtney. That sounds like a great time. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it seems like a cool place to go, but hopefully the temperatures are cooler by the time people go out there. Let's go to our weather anchor, Joe, for a full look at our forecast. Joe?
The rest of this week will be pretty hot, but we'll get to the 7-day forecast in a little bit. Currently, it is 94 in Denton, 94 in McKinney, 93 out in Sulphur Springs, 98 topping off in Dallas, 95 in Fort Worth, and 97 in Graham. But as we move across the state of North Texas, we actually peak out here in Abilene at 103 degrees. Very highest temperature in North Texas today. 95 in Austin, 80 actually in Houston. They're getting a little bit of rain and some nice cool weather. And 96 up in Oklahoma City. Look at that. Now, as we move into our 7-day forecast, we see it stays essentially 92 degrees throughout the rest of the week. But at the end of this week, we are moving from summer into fall. And you can see right here on Tuesday and Wednesday, we have a very high chance of rain, dropping temperatures down at least 10 degrees, possibly even more. Lows of 59 and 69 for Wednesday and Tuesday. And it is going to be about a 94% chance of rain. So make sure you're ready for that more severe weather and for those cooler temperatures. That's all I have for you right now. Drake and Nick, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. Now, we brought our sports anchor Nick Laupius up a little early tonight because there's a lot more going on in the sports world than just scores.
That's right. The Major League Baseball Association is dealing with what's becoming a bigger problem, and that is the safety of fans at their stadium. Yesterday at Yankee Stadium, a foul ball hit off the bat of New York Yankee Todd Frazier, hitting a 2-year-old girl. The ball was flying at 105 miles an hour before it hit her in the face. Thankfully, though, the child is reported to be okay, and the incident did have both players on both teams shaken, especially Todd Frazier. Now, this latest incident...
Yeah, it was terrible. Shaken up a little bit, and I don't know really what happened. I hope she's all right, but it was just something that I wish never happened. It was tough. It was tough to watch and tough to be a part of, to be honest.
Now, this latest incident brings back the issue of safety nets at baseball stadiums to protect their fans. Now, earlier this year, a little boy was badly injured when a bat broke and a piece of it hit him in the back. Ironically, that was also at Yankee Stadium.
That's right, Nick, and it's not just fans of baseball who are having issues with safety. The players are at risk every time they step into the batter's box. And while most people think of football when it comes to concussions, baseball has them too.
Baseball isn't considered really a contact sport, but people don't realize that it kind of is. It's not just football that has concussions and guys getting hurt like that.
It was Mother's Day weekend of 2015 when Jackson Weatherford was hit by a 90-mile-per-hour fastball in the head. Jackson found out later that the pitch would be his third concussion in an 8-day period.
All I can really remember is seeing his leg come up, and that's about it. You know, there's spots here and there for the next 24 hours that I can remember.
Jackson's first concussion came from a fly ball in warm-ups a week earlier, but was left untreated. The result? Jackson still suffers from concussion symptoms even 2 years later. But Jackson's case is not unusual.
Getting the right treatment early on can help to prevent having these prolonged symptoms that kind of can plague people for years sometimes.
Concussion expert Dr. Sally Fryer-Dietz is the founder and director of integrative concussion therapy. One of the biggest problems she sees is athletes not resting after their first injury to the head.
You go back and you play too soon, so you get back on the field. Even just the subtle, signs of your body can be off just enough to set you up for having that second injury. And it's not often the first one that gets you, it's usually the second.
Recognizing and treating the first head injury is important in the concussion prevention process. But there is still a lot of risk in contact sports, which raises the question, is the risk of head injuries worth playing?
Sure, I'd do it all again. I didn't care if my brain was bleeding. I was going to play. It was my senior night. I was playing the crosstown rivals. I was going to play.
Life is a risk. We walk down the street and you can fall off a curb. We can't protect ourselves from everything. And exercise, there's way more benefits to exercise than there are disadvantages to it.
Dr. Sally Fryer-Dietz also says that baseball ranks 4th in concussion cases. Integrative concussion therapy actually says that girls soccer is the sport that causes the most concussions at the high school level.
Coming up, the first Muslim sorority in the country opens a chapter at the University of Texas in Austin.
And it's football season, and with that comes football parking. We have information on where to park on campus and where not to park coming up next.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. Do you see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto.
enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Bro? Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It's good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
A new sorority at the University of Texas in Austin is looking for fellow Islam followers to go Greek. And as Alyssa Gord tells us, they're a part of the first Muslim sorority in the country.
Maria Hassim wants to become a neurosurgeon when she graduates from UT. But she hasn't had the chance to meet many women in her field who are also Muslim.
Especially on the UT campus, we have a lot of Muslim women girls who are aspiring to go into careers that they don't usually have direct role models for.
So she started Mu Delta Alpha at UT Austin. It's a professional sorority for Muslim women. It's the second chapter in the country. The first was started last year at UT Dallas.
We have like our own values that we have to balance along with our Islamic values and career goals.
Just like other sororities, you'll find members networking and doing community service.
There have been, a few issues around campus because of different cultures and backgrounds. So bringing a group, an organization that's based off of Muslim professionals I feel is really important.
We are all sisters within our religion. We're all sisters in Islam. And something like a sisterhood is something that's actually very, very ingrained in our religious community.
It may look a little different than other sorority rushes, but the spirit is all the same. Building a community that brings young women closer to their goals.
Especially just showing young Muslim women that there are, contemporary Muslim American women here, and we are empowered, we are strong, and we're ready to change the world.
And the sorority hopes to gain 20 new members by the end of this week.
Come out and support our Mean Green football team this Saturday at Apogee Stadium, where we will be playing the University of Alabama at Birmingham. But before you head out to the game, be sure you know where to park to avoid a towing fine of $125. All vehicles must be out of Fouts Field, Victory Hall, and Mean Green Village parking lots 71 and 77 by 5:30 p.m. on Friday, September 22nd. For more information on parking or transportation, visit Transportation Services Office on the first floor of the Highland Street Parking Garage, or keep in touch with Transportation Services on Twitter or Facebook. Kickoff for the game is at 5:30. Well, Maggie, I don't know about you, but I will definitely be going to the game.
Well, I plan on going to. It looks like we have a great chance of winning. Our sports anchor, Nick Laupius, has more on our chances. Nick?
Well, that's right, Drake and Maggie. The Mean Green look to open up conference play with a win, and also some very exciting news from the Texas Rangers today. I'll have those and more after the break.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Thank you.
You got a king?
Go fish.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
The Texas Rangers unveiled the design of the future home for the team. Now, there are no mentions of possible new protective netting in the new stadium. However, this is what we do know about the future home of the Rangers. It will be called Globe Life Field and is set to open in March of 2020. It'll have a capacity of about 41,000. Now, the main feature of the new ballpark is obviously the retractable roof and the fact that it will be climate controlled. Now, while the ballpark was being unveiled here in Texas, the Rangers are on a 3-game winning streak after taking down the Mariners in Seattle last night. Rougned Odor launched a grand slam to cap off a 7-run 4th inning for the Rangers. They would hold on to beat the Mariners 8-6 for their 3rd straight victory. Now, with only 10 games remaining in the season, the Rangers are only 2.5 games out of the last wildcard spot and are looking for some late season magic to make a playoff run. Now, back here in Denton, though, the volleyball team, they're on a run of their own. They've won their last 10 matches, having swept their past 6 sets. Now, the team has a 12-1 overall record. They begin conference play tomorrow when they take on the Southern Miss Golden Eagles from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Then they'll travel to Florida to take on Florida International on Sunday. And the Mean Green football team, we already talked about it, returning to Apogee Stadium this Saturday. They'll begin conference play as well as they host the University of Alabama Birmingham. North Texas enters Saturday's matchup with a 1-2 overall record, and they're looking to rebound after last week's loss at Iowa. Kickoff is at 5:30 Saturday evening, and they look to start off Conference USA play with a victory. And that's all I have for you tonight, and back to you at the desk.
Great news for students who are part of the UNT Music Entrepreneurs HIP program. Billboard magazine recently released its list of the best 15 music business schools in 2017, and UNT's College of Music has earned a coveted spot. The purpose of the competition is to encourage students to envision innovative ways to create engaging music concerts and to nurture connections with other artists and to teach them how to build and communicate an audience, in addition to being a performer, says Claire. This competition has helped UNT earn this prestigious ranking. Winner of this competition will be allowed to perform their material at the Greater Denton Arts Council on November 9th and will receive $250 to market the performance.
Well, Maggie, I knew we had a good music program, but that's really something impressive.
Oh, they're absolutely incredible.
Well, thanks for joining us on NTTV Nightly News.
Join us again on Monday night at 6 here at North Texas Television.